Today on the Ask Dr. Jason show, we're going to talk about longevity. Now, that's probably a really popular term. Everybody's heard about it. Everybody's biohacking the body with supplements, drugs, all kinds of different gadgets and things. We're going to try to simplify this today so that you can have a workable strategy. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Ask Dr. Jason show. I am Dr. Jason, and I'm joined as always by my friend and colleague and co-host here, Brian Casuto. As always, please do me a favor. Share, like, go to all the socials, subscribe, follow, do all the things. We really want to try to get our information out there, and we really truly need you for that. So thank you so much for watching and listening. Bri, how are you, bud?
I'm doing well. Just got back from Newfoundland.
Nice.
Which was amazing. You know, Transparent Labs base is out of there. Their
Absolutely.
HQ. Just opened up an incredible new office. And getting out of South Florida, I'm sure you could appreciate, this time of year with the heat. Unbelievable, by the way, to feel 60s during the day, 50s at night.
Oh, dude, it's unbearable right now because we're not getting enough rain. Only in the last week have we got any appreciable rain. Like, you know, I live on a lake, right?
Right.
Our lake is 4 feet low.
I know.
It's ridiculous. Can't even use the lake in the way that you would normally do. So, no, we need rain, but it's been hot.
I know.
So.
And by the way, wildfires, it's been okay down here. I mean, clearly what happened in Canada coming down in the Midwest was
we
nuts.
really haven't had a whole lot of fires here. But you know what? They do a lot of maintenance here, too. They do a lot of back burning, stuff like that. Like a lot of the parks where I go cycling, they do controlled burns to make sure that fires don't break out.
I know.
I mean, Tampa's the lightning capital of the country, I think, or something like that. We get more lightning here than anywhere. So.
Well, we endure 5 horrifically hot months here, and then 7 are beautiful.
Without it. Well, the spring and the fall are kind of like the deceptive things where people come here to visit and they're like, oh, I could live there. No, I tell them to come during the summer so they don't come back.
It's not Dubai, but it's tough.
Oh, Dubai's brutal. During this time of year, I can't do it.
This is Transparent Labs Creatine HMB. Creatine builds muscle by fueling your output. HMB protects muscle by reducing breakdown. Research shows that this combination can result in 33% greater strength gains and 67% more lean mass than just creatine alone. Start building more muscle with Transparent Labs Creatine HMB.
So today's hot topic is going to be longevity.
Yeah, man.
And to say it's popular, to say it's on trend, would be a significant understatement. People want to not just live longer, they want to live healthier longer and improve their well-being and the quality of life. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to unpacking that. And what's your take?
So here's the funny thing, though, is that there are so many strategies out there, and we'll talk about those in a second, but everybody wants to have the wisdom, knowledge, and experience of someone over 50.
Right.
They want the ambition of a 25 to 30-year-old, like, PhD student. They want to have the stamina of a 20-year-old, the sex drive of an 18-year-old, the energy of a 5-year-old, and the memory and the mental capacity of a genius.
What's wrong with that?
I don't know. Basically, they want to be a fictional superhero.
Okay.
It's kind of ridiculous, but I truly get it. I get that desire because I think we're all trying to strive to be younger than we really are.
No, it's so funny you say that. And it literally comes to mind as you're speaking.
Yeah.
The movie with Bradley Cooper, Limitless. The guy used like 100% of his brain. He had these unlimited powers and abilities. But really, that's what it's like.
Well, as funny as that example is, but if you think about it, look what happened to him during the movie because he relied on a drug or a pill. See,
yeah, it was a drug.
Totally. So he's relying on this pill, and then there are all kinds of crazy side effects and downsides. And so that's one of the things that I would tell you in longevity. It doesn't have to be like that. Believe it or not, living longer and healthier is possible. And it's not so complicated. It doesn't have to be this complicated. It's not about gadgets and other things. So, I'm looking forward to unpacking this for sure.
I mean, even before the trend kicked in, would you know off the top of your head, like, I would argue men and women are living longer today than they did several decades ago. Is that truthful?
So I would tell you it's statistically they're living longer, but my question is are they living longer quality of life and healthier? So like when you look at medical advancements, like cancer research and disease state research, people live healthier longer, but they're sick for a larger portion of it too.
Oh, who wants that?
No, absolutely. You know, before we jump into this though, I think it's kind of fun to talk about this. What are people doing right now?
Okay.
With longevity. So when you look at this, they're focused on all kinds of different things. Like look at diets. Every diet trend under the sun. You know, I like to I like to break the word diet down. Not that it's actually true. The root word of diet is not die, right? But I like to jokingly say the root word of diet is die, because what a diet does, or a diet plan, is they try to kill off something in your diet. Think about all these low carb diets. There's all sorts of different spectrums of these low carbs.
You want to eliminate something.
Yeah, you're eliminating carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Either the carnivore, the keto, Atkins, South Beach, whatever. All those diets are eliminating carbohydrates, but they're doing it in more extreme fashions. Like carnivore is literally only meat and animal fat. By the way, before I even get into that, we even had some questions come in where people were,
I saw you upset some people.
well, I think I stepped in there. I don't know. I might have peed in their Cheerios a little bit because they're so excited about carnivore diet, but yet I was like, guys, listen, there's a lot of deficits in this diet. I point these things out not to be antagonistic, but I point them out because, listen, our diet is supposed to be balanced. We're supposed to be getting macronutrients, micronutrients, all kinds of different things to support and run this machine. And we'll talk more about that in a little bit.
By the way, was that the guy talking about, a salad, not mentioning he's potentially drowning it in dressing?
Of course not. No, everybody wants to say that like fruits, vegetables, and things like that have almost no carbohydrates. Well, that is true depending on the fruit or vegetable, but it's what you put on it. It's the salad dressing.
Of course.
Even within the keto diet, they'll even warn you that store-bought dressings are a major, major problem because they're high caloric intake, seed oils, and then there's all kinds of other garbage.
Yeah.
And if there isn't a ton of sugar, which is a big problem for the keto diet in general, there's artificial sweeteners or artificial flavors or artificial everything that isn't good for your body either. So I'm not going to support something that isn't good for you just because it works. Now, what that person failed to mention is I did admit the keto diet works.
Right.
You do lose weight. It's just not fun.
Right.
I mean, they literally have a definition for something called the keto flu.
Yeah.
Like, who wants a flu? Like,
Walk
who wants
around
to
in
feel
a
like
fog.
crap?
Yeah.
Exactly. Even if it is for a week, I don't like being sick for a day.
Right.
No,
it's tough.
No, without a doubt. So even beyond diets, though, you're looking at hormone therapy and all kinds of other things that guys are doing, men and women alike, are looking for this because everybody wants to look and feel younger. I get it, right? Like, I totally get it. I'm 55 years old, and I would love to be a 20-year-old again.
Right.
But keep the mind of a 55. So I'm, because I don't want to lose the wisdom. I don't want to go back to being as stupid as I was when I was 20, right? Like, I want to keep the wisdom for sure. But when you look at it, they're doing testosterone replacement therapy, both for men and women.
Sure.
That's becoming popular. It's been popular for a long time for men, but primarily is for athletic performance, keeps them lean.
But even energy too, like, in
totally.
mid-40s, doctor was checking out my testosterone levels, right? Because that's critical.
Well, so they start supplementing this so you can feel younger. Because as we lose energy, and we're going to talk about energy because energy is
sex
a big
drive, energy,
sex drive, everything,
all of it.
Well, for women, they're even prescribing testosterone replacement therapy for sex drive,
right,
and libido and so forth. Then there's just having more energy, like energy drinks, and you know how I feel about those.
Of course,
By
the way, people tracking, with their smart devices, if you will.
100%, yeah.
Their steps,
100.
their heart rate, their hours of sleep, their hours of good sleep, not so great sleep. Yeah, I'm not participating in all of that, but it's wild.
So I think it's tech overload. So here's what I would tell you. I would say that consumerism is completely alive and well. They want to try to sell you a hack, a tool, a device, or something that comes with some sort of financial subscription, so that you could stay on top of all your data. And so my wife's like, oh my gosh, I hit my 10,000 steps. And I'm like, how do you feel? Same.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, they don't feel any different.
Right.
They hit 10,000 steps. Good for you.
Or I hit 20.
Yeah.
Well, my caloric
You know what I
intake
mean?
today was X, Y, and Z. It's like too much.
It is. But if I told you that longevity is really simple.
Okay.
We need to exercise, we need to eat better, and we need to sleep better.
Amen. Yeah.
And those are very, very basic things. So if we were to define longevity, so what is the goal of longevity? A lot of people would say automatically that it's, I want to live longer. And I would have a longer lifespan. I'm going to tell you, I completely disagree with that definition.
It's funny you say that. I think back to, in the 90s, it was anti-aging.
Yeah.
Well, aging is actually not a bad thing.
It's
aging,
biological, by the way. Like, it's a progressive thing.
right.
It's going to happen.
How about aging gracefully?
Aging gracefully.
Right?
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
So the idea of anti-aging, I always thought was a joke because I was like, really? Someone stopped aging?
Oh, I didn't recognize it back then. I drank the Kool-Aid,
Oh,
but
no.
thinking about it now.
Dude,
Yeah.
I didn't buy into that crap a long time ago. Like, they would have all these topical creams and different things.
Yeah.
There's even a person that was on social media saying we might have just cracked the code, to stopping and reversing the aging process. And I'm like, really? You can turn back biology. Like, you can literally push back against it. And I want to know the side effects of that.
Right.
Like, I just don't understand it. Well, I would tell you that longevity is not about living longer, in my opinion. Or having a longer lifespan. I would say that the most important thing to focus is health span.
Yeah.
Right? How long can you live free of chronic disease? Right? The aches and the temporary aches and pains, fine, whatever. That's part of life, aging. But free of chronic disease, free of various use of medications, being strapped to some medical intervention. Ailments, totally.
Like our health is
100%,
our wealth, right?
100%. So being active and mobile without restriction, staying mentally sharp. I think one of the saddest signs of premature aging is when people lose their ability to remember, dementia, Alzheimer's. Because it's happening younger in certain cases, which, I would tell you is not a biological thing. It's not a genetic thing. It's the way we live our life thing. There's toxins and things that we're introducing to our bodies. Our bodies just can't deal with,
There's a few people in my circle, to remain nameless. Not too close, but both of which were not any longer our age, mid-50s.
Yeah.
Heavy smokers.
Yeah.
Not so much heavy drinkers, but excessive caffeine. Different countries.
Yeah.
The way they look, and I mean this, it's like they look 15 to 20 years older than you or I. It's like, it's noticeable physically. So that,
lifestyle can do that, though. The way you live your life.
Right. You may not feel it in your 20s and 30s. But
you feel like you're indestructible. You're Wolverine in your 20s.
But it's noticeable now, and it catches up quick.
Without a doubt. Honestly, when I look back to when I was in 20 in college at Arizona State, which was not the right school for an irresponsible 20-year-old. Like, we were literally at that time called the party.
You weren't anti-alcohol back then.
No, I was anti-water.
Yeah.
Everything had to be alcohol. No,
sure.
But I was also an athlete. So in college, and so for me,
that's right. You went for what? Water polo?
Swimming.
Oh,
I played club water polo because they didn't have an NCAA team.
But you went there to swim. Oh,
swim,
good for you.
Well, I didn't go there to swim. I ended up swimming.
Really?
Yeah. Because I swam competitively for 22 years.
So you didn't walk on, you swam on?
Here's the fun. Yeah, it's kind of funny.
All right.
No, first of all, I wasn't really good enough to be a college athlete, like to college swimmer. In truth, I was a really good swimmer.
That's elite.
Dude, it's a whole nother level.
Yep.
In high school in California, I was, top 3 in
Get
CIF.
out of here.
Yeah, like really big in my strokes. But kids at college, I was a joke. Like, there was no way. There was people that were Olympic trial.
What was your stroke?
Breaststroke and 200 IM.
Wow.
Which is like where you swim 50 yards of each. So one of the things when it comes to longevity, though, and I always lay this out for somebody, and I say, okay, if somebody told me that I was going to live to 100 years old,
okay,
but that at age 70, I was going to become sick and I was going to battle disease for 30 years.
No, thank you.
I would take living to 70 and getting hit by a bus.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I would rather live fewer years, but be free of that tether, be free of that anchor. And so that's really what I think longevity should be. That's what we should focus on.
That's quality of life.
100%. What I'm witnessing today is people get diagnosed with something like diabetes. Now they're managing a disease for the rest of their life that has limitations on what they can eat, how they can live. They have to monitor their blood sugar. They have to do all these different things.
Yeah.
They're inventing drugs to try to overcome it and then saying, oh, well, it's better for weight loss. Let's do those, Like, I don't know if you saw this, but there was even some research that was revealed soon. I think I sent you that social media post where it talked about the gig is up. They finally found some research now in some of the GLP-1 research that there are some really serious side effects that are starting to happen.
Oh, wow.
Some really challenging ones. We don't want to unpack that today, but these drugs have limitations. Just like when you're talking about Limitless, using the drug to have the brain,
sure.
the intelligent freedom of like the unabounded brain activity that that pill could bring. Well, the side effects were harmful, especially the way that movie depicted it. And it was kind of letting you know
right.
that if we're going to be reliant on the pharmaceutical community to really guide us on what our longevity is, we're not going to live well.
Yeah.
So
short-term benefits.
Short-term benefits for sure. Let's dive into this. And so I want to premise this, okay? When we did our show on magnesium, Bri, I know we got super technical and I smile and it got almost monotonous to the point where like, even you were like, all right, dude, I'm over it. Don't talk anymore. Cause like it was, so there are going to be some technical terms that I'll use here to talk about
Well, I appreciate the segue. You're warning me.
No, I'm going to segue into this. There's some technical terms that are linked directly to aging and longevity.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the technical term, and then I'm going to give you just what it is, like what the goal is, because I think everybody can identify with these real world terms. So
okay, let's hear.
Let's dive into this. So when discussing the ideologies around longevity, there are two specific biomarkers that are really important to pay attention to.
All right.
And there's a couple other things that we'll talk about as well beyond this. But the first one is known as AMPK. Now, those are letters. The letters stand for adenosine monophosphate activated protein kinase. Now, I'm never going to repeat that again in the show.
AMPK.
AMPK.
Okay.
Adenosine monophosphate activated protein kinase.
Never heard of it.
Okay. Most people haven't. And in truth, before doing the research for this show, I wouldn't say that it was something I thought about a lot. I knew of it. I probably didn't know it as well as I know today, right? So there's also another key biomarker that we need to pay attention to, and they're called sirtuins.
Okay.
Now, sirtuins got very popular back in the day. If you remember when resveratrol came on the scene as this
powerful antioxidant.
Oh, dude, powerful antioxidant, but also powerful anti-aging, because it was something that would activate one of the sirtuins called SIRT1. We'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
All right, so AMPK is a critical enzyme, but let's talk about what it really is. So by definition, it's much more technical, but I'm just going to tell you that it is inside your body. It's a biomarker that is the energy and repair switch, right? I would tell you that it's kind of like the energy fuel gauge. And what AMPK does is it will turn on certain processes in your body that make energy, but it'll also turn off others that consume it.
Okay.
And the reason why that's so important is that, let's say you're in certain situations that are really challenging with your body, and your body needs to survive. You've heard in the stress
under
response,
stress. Yeah.
under stress, you have fight or flight, right?
Right.
Like you can do things that you never knew you could do. Like you hear that whole I don't know if it's a myth. I've never seen it happen. I've never seen video proof, but a grandmother that can lift up a car in an accident, right?
Save
Whatever.
a child,
right?
right? Of course.
So there's certain switches that go on and off in your body that allow your body to do things. So AMPK is activated by physical stress. Okay, so it's activated where energy is depleted. Number one is exercise. So now, why is that really important? Think about it. When you start to exercise, your body starts shifting or turning on and off switches so that you can better perform under stress, physical stress.
Okay.
It also gets clicked on, or I should say AMPK is activated when you are fasting. Now you're starving. See, food is what provides fuel or energy to the body. Well, if you're not getting food and you're in a fasting state, your body needs to activate something to go identify fuel sources that are existing in the body.
So is AMPK down in that state?
No. When you're fasting, AMPK is up.
Oh, interesting.
Because it's looking for other energy sources. So what it does, it's kind of like this special switch. So like, think about it. If you're fasting, in order to perform tasks and to be active and to do things and to be able to exert yourself or think or function, have your heart pump, all these different things, you need energy to do that at a cellular level. But if you're not consuming the fuel like food in order to make that happen, AMPK gets activated and it starts looking for alternative fuel sources, because typically your body's going to operate on glucose, right? Your brain operates on glucose. It's going to use glucose, which, sugars and other things convert to glucose. Glucose is like that fuel. So what does your body do? It activates AMPK, goes and finds fat. It'll burn fat for a fuel source. And if it has to, in the most extreme circumstances, it might even have to burn muscle tissue or things of that nature, where it deteriorates some really healthy, dense tissue or something that can be converted to fuel fairly easily. So AMPK is activated.
Okay.
When you're calorically restricting your body, calories are units of energy, kind of, right? That's what they are. So AMPK is not getting as many calories, so it needs to find energy other ways. So AMPK gets activated. Now, it turns off energy-consuming processes in the body too. So things that are overly active,
meaning
kind of shuts them down. Let's say a good example would be stress responses and things of that nature, where your body is overactive in a certain way. It's going to turn off growth. So like if your body's in a growth phase where you're growing things, it's going to turn off the energy put into growth. and more it's going to turn on energy or I should say, it's going to activate places for energy so that's more about conservation.
So when you're in an anabolic state.
Yes, it's going to turn off that anabolic state and go into a conservation state.
Got it.
So it's going to go into a survival mode. In other words, it's going to try to save your life. It's going to try to prolong life. In other words, it's going to try to do something to make you healthier in that moment because you're restricting what comes. Now, where that gets activated and why it works really well for people that are on diets is that by activating AMPK, so there's all kinds of different strategies for activating AMPK, but it does so, it starts you burning fat. So it starts to go to places where you're like, I have extra fat, I want to burn that off instead.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's very cool. So the longevity impact is that it promotes first the use of fat as energy. It helps to regulate blood sugar. And it also promotes the creation of new mitochondria. Now, for anybody listening that doesn't know what the mitochondria is, every single cell in your body has something called a mitochondria. It's the power plant.
Yep.
It's this power plant that creates energy. So inside this power plant, there's all kinds of different biological processes that are going on. It's kind of like when you look at a power plant and you see the smokestacks going. You know that something's happening inside that building, and there's a bunch of pollution happening because it's creating power, energy, whatever. So AMPK, when it's activated, the longevity impact is that it performs something called, or I should say, it promotes something called mitochondrial biogenesis, meaning the creation of new mitochondria.
Okay.
So endurance athletes have higher, I guess you could say, numbers at a cellular level of mitochondria because the demands on energy production are so much greater. So when you get involved in endurance exercise, you're automatically promoting new mitochondria being created. When AMPK is activated, your body does this. So that way your body gets way more efficient in making fuel and energy so that you can energize yourself, even if you are fasting, calorically restricted, or there's some sort of energy depletion during exercise, you can still go faster longer because you have more energy available.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. It also initiates something called autophagy.
Okay.
And it's a word that's gaining more popularity today. But autophagy is the process of cell clearance. So like, for example, you have this mitochondria. This mitochondria is the powerhouse or the power plant creating energy at a cellular level. Much like that power plant example that I gave you with the smoke coming out the smokestacks. Anytime you create energy, you're processing something. You're either converting food into fuel or some fuel source into energy. Whenever you make energy, there's pollution.
Right.
There is reactive oxygen species or oxidative stress or damage that happens at a cellular level. So when you
sounds like detoxification.
Kind of, yes, because there is garbage collecting at a cellular level. So by activating AMPK, you're promoting autophagy. Autophagy is cell clearance.
Oh.
It's cleaning out the cell. It's actually, I guess you could say, an improvement modulation. Like it's modulating cell clearance. It's kind of like a street cleaner.
Wow.
Right? It's going in there and cleaning out the pollution so that your cell can operate much better. Because imagine if there's tons of pollution at a cellular level, meaning oxidative damage, that cell's not going to operate very well, and you're not likely to produce much energy.
Wow.
Yeah. So
these are things people don't talk about because I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah. True.
It's wild.
But what's really interesting is that everybody's trying to stimulate AMPK by take this pill, take this drug, do this, all these different things. Believe it or not, your body does this naturally. It's a natural biological process. So the question is, why should stimulating AMPK be an important strategy for longevity?
Right.
First of all, AMPK declines with age.
Oh.
So as we age, it declines. So anything that we can do to promote the activity of AMPK is going to be better for you. It declines even faster in a poor diet and a poor lifestyle. So if you eat like crap and you are sedentary, you're going to feel like crap. And you're more than likely going to develop disease and sicknesses and things of that nature because our bodies are made to fuel it the way we eat and be active. But if we don't do any of those well, it's going to be a challenge. It acts as the body's master energy sensor and repair switch. So it's going to modulate energy. It's going to send energy where it's needed.
Right.
It's going to manage the whole energy consumption and manufacturing process, and it just flips it on and off like a switch. Like I said earlier, it shifts the body from growth to conservation. In other words, survival, or in this case, longevity.
Yeah.
It triggers, like I said, cellular recycling, which is autophagy, clearing out. And like I said, it creates new mitochondria to help burn fat. So
Cell health. Yeah.
cell health, totally. Because if your cells are not operating correctly, you can't produce energy. You're not going to be able to do the things you need to do, and you're not going to be as healthy as you need to do, and metabolic illness will set in. If you look at the way we eat in boxes, cans, freezer, it's just garbage.
No.
You know, we're eating for convenience instead of for survival.
So I heard that exercise is key,
Yeah.
eating well is key. Intermittent fasting is actually not a bad thing
No,
for AMPK.
not at all. In fact, fasting, as I mentioned, like when we talk about caloric restriction or even fasting in general, is absolutely a provoker, a stimulator for AMPK, for sure. So the next one, though, and there's these words, and I'm sorry that this is technical. I'm hoping that this
You haven't
makes
lost
sense.
me yet.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Good. All right, so now there's something called sirtuins.
Right.
Sirtuins are a family of 7 essential enzymes in human cells that act as the body's cellular maintenance and repair crew. So I would call these the housekeepers, right? And by housekeepers, they're kind of just helping to maintain cell function. So what does that mean? At a cellular level, there's all kinds of different things occurring. The cells are aging and dying. They're mutating. There's challenges that happen. Sirtuins are also responsible for cellular metabolic control. So I mean, like how our body's metabolic activities are happening, like how do we make energy? Are we staying in balance? Insulin, blood sugar, mitochondrial function, reducing oxidative stress. They're looking at all these different ways to be housekeepers of all these different activities that are happening at the same time. They're involved in DNA repair. I would call them cellular guardians.
Okay.
Right? They're there to protect the cells of your body. Because remember, AMPK is using the cell to produce energy and modulating through turning on and off switches, right? So that we can operate efficiently. But sirtuins come in and protect the cell and manage and make sure the cell is operational. I would call them
upkeep.
like, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So I would call AMPK maybe the vice president of activities,
Okay.
and the sirtuins as the chief operational officer,
Got
right?
it.
Like it's kind of just like keeping
Keeping
track
everything
of
in
the
check.
plan, right?
All right.
Now, sirtuins are also activated by the same things: physical activity or exercise, fasting, caloric restriction. So they're operating under the same things.
Okay.
So when you look at this, when your body is in a stressful situation, lacking certain nutrients or things it needs to eat, or if you start reducing the calories because maybe you've eaten too much over your life and your body now needs to turn to its own internal resources like fat stores to burn it as energy, AMPK is activated, but so are sirtuins, because these kind of go hand in hand. Now, the longevity impact is that sirtuins can also turn specific genes on or off. Now, genes, genetic, with the 7 enzymes I'm talking about, there was something called SIRT1. That's one of the sirtuins. Back when I used that example about resveratrol.
Right.
Resveratrol was known for activating SIRT1. When you activate SIRT1, they nickname it the longevity gene because what it does is it's looking at ways to conserve and make sure that it manages the cell so the cell is protected. Now, essentially, sirtuins help to identify whether a cell will survive under stress or it'll undergo cell death. So, in other words, if something's really going wrong with the cell, it'll say, okay, we need to get rid of that one and make it, we need to produce or promote new cellular growth or function and stuff like that. Or it'll help the cell survive under stress. So when it's loaded full of oxidative stress, it's really important to identify that in cell management. So it's really involved in that part. Now, why would stimulating sirtuins be important to longevity? Sirtuins prioritize cell survival because it's going to manage cell activities, right? Whereas AMPK is doing energy processing and so forth, sirtuins are going to prioritize figuring out a way to make sure that the cell survives.
Got it.
It's also going to help decide whether or not it needs to promote new cell growth. Now, sirtuins do have a secret. Sirtuins cannot be active without the presence of NAD. Now, you've heard of NAD.
Okay. NAD is
All the rage.
okay. All the rage. So many supplement brands offer it right now,
100%.
and clearly you could take it via injection. Then there's capsules. I'm sure you'll get into it.
So we're going to
But-
get into all that.
But I don't even know what it is.
So we're going to get to that in just one second. But let me just share one more thing about sirtuins. We'll dive into NAD, because NAD, I think, is the one. If there was a hack, if there was like a trick or a tool that you could focus on and make a really, truly significant difference, boosting NAD in the body is really important, because that's only going to make this AMPK sirtuin activity
it's incredible.
way more effective, because sirtuins cannot be active without the presence of NAD. But sirtuins are also involved in DNA repair. So the very core of our bodies, the DNA repair, helps control and manage inflammation and metabolic health. So really, really, truly important. So now NAD, probably one of my favorite things to talk about. So NAD stands for nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. And I'm just going to refer to that as NAD for the rest of the time. So what is NAD? NAD is the universal fuel. Okay. This is the fuel that fuels the ability for AMPK to do its job, or for sirtuins to even be active. Let me tell you something really extreme about NAD. If I could snap my fingers and NAD no longer existed in your body, you die.
Wow.
You cannot function without NAD being present in the body. So NAD is absolutely crucial, and we could talk about the values and so forth and what it means to boost it and so on. So,
Okay, so let me ask. So what does it do in the body specifically, and why now are people so hip to it and inquisitive about it and on everyone's radar?
So when you look at something as valuable as NAD, meaning you're not producing energy at a cellular level without NAD. You can't produce energy. So NAD will help you convert nutrients from food
Right.
into ATP. Now, you've heard of adenosine
Of course.
triphosphate, right?
Yep.
You don't have ATP.
Is that the
without
energy
NAD.
molecule?
Yeah,
Right.
It's the energy molecule. So if we were to look at the Krebs cycle, right? And Krebs cycle is a super technical term. I apologize. I'm just throwing it out there. ATP in its cycle will explode, let's say, to create energy. That ATP stands for adenosine tri or 3-phosphate.
Right.
When it explodes and creates energy, it becomes ADP, adenosine diphosphate. NAD takes the food or nutrients from the food that we consume and converts it to ATP, so that you can continually recycle this process.
Okay.
Sirtuins have no ability to do anything without NAD.
Wow.
So longevity or cellular health or metabolic health is impossible without NAD.
It all starts here.
100%. So I would tell you that no matter what angle you approach longevity, NAD is always in the mix. So what is NAD also responsible for? It powers DNA repair. So like for repairing DNA, it directs cellular maintenance. The main reason why everybody's talking about it is because of its link to anti-aging, which I hate that term.
Right.
Biology, you're going to age no matter
We,
what. So
we
the word-
define that, yeah.
yeah. That's not. There's no such thing. Aging gracefully, though, is going to depend on whether or not the presence of NAD in your body can stay at a nice boosted level. And the cool thing about it is there are ways to make that happen.
So everything you just shared, is that why researchers are so focused on it now?
100%. Well, first of all, the primary reasons why people are focused on this one is that, one, we can't survive without it, can't produce energy without it, and it is directly linked to longevity, health and well-being, metabolic health, cellular health. But NAD declines naturally with age.
Right.
So it even declines faster, though, when you consider lifestyle choices and habits.
Right.
So I will tell you things like alcohol. I know we talked about that in an episode already, how there is no safe level of consumption for alcohol. And I know that different people have different ideas. I stopped drinking over 2.5 years ago now, because alcohol is very damaging to your health at a cellular level. Poor diet choices.
Yeah.
You know, when we eat more processed, refined foods that are not good for you.
Yeah.
An example I give about food that's really important for people to hear is this. If you go to the grocery store and you buy something in a box, let's say you buy minute rice. If you take what's in that box and plant it in the ground, will it grow? And the answer is no.
Right.
If you take an orange and it falls from the tree, degrades, and the seeds fall to the earth, will it grow an orange tree?
Yes.
The answer is yes. When I was given this example to somebody else the other day, they were like, okay, what about a steak? If you plant a steak, you don't grow a cow. And I'm like, okay, hold on a second, back up.
Who said that?
Dude, someone just being a jerk.
Okay.
But we're having a conversation. I'm like, yes, that's true. But when you have a male and a female cow, and when they mate, they have an offspring that produces a new cow. So they're mammals. They're not rooted in the ground like plants. They're mammals, much like we create new human beings through I couldn't even follow the guy while I was doing it. But anyway, it's really kind of funny.
He must be a big cereal eater.
No, honestly, just wanted to defend his lifestyle, but it's unfortunate, but true. But people want to defend this whole convenience lifestyle. But you want to eat living, real, whole, natural food.
Absolutely.
So, and like I already said, why are researchers focused on it? It reduces with age. Lifestyle choices, diet habits can also cause it to decline faster. But also certain metabolic functions, like what we already talked about, AMPK and sirtuins, they don't even exist. They can't function without NAD being present.
Okay. Wow. The power of NAD.
NAD is amazing.
All right, that's the key takeaway.
100%.
Okay, so Jason, how does it work in the body specifically, NAD? What's happening?
All right, so I already kind of mentioned it about that whole ATP recycling thing. So it fuels cellular respiration. So we breathe in air,
right?
Gives us oxygen. Our muscles can perform. We breathe out carbon dioxide. At a cellular level, there's cell respiration as well. There's this whole Krebs cycle, this function where your body is taking inputs, converting them to something, making energy. It converts to something else and then has to be recycled. So we have this constant energy. So that's that whole ATP energy production cycle. And ATP, though, literally is the fuel the body uses for everything from muscle contraction, brain function.
Literally everything.
Literally everything. It's what we produce as energy at a cellular level. Now, it's also involved in DNA repair. Now, you hear of DNA, more in like...
our genetic code.
Our genetic code. Or like if you have these, DNA tests during these real life crime dramas and they're like, oh, we tested their DNA and it matches,
Yeah.
But DNA is like literally at the core of who we are. So NAD also is involved directly in DNA repair. So it's a direct fuel source for enzymes called PARPs. P-A-R-P.
PARPs.
Now that's poly, ADP ribose polymerases. And what those are first responders. So like if shit hits the fan,
from
your
what
body needs
a health perspective?
like a health perspective, right? Like if inside the body something's going wrong,
right?
PARPs are what are the first responders. They're going to go and find something. They're going to detect damage in the body, and they're going to help to mend it at a cellular level. And these damages can be caused by daily stress, environmental exposure, the way we eat, the way we live, all these different things. Everyday stressors include poor diet, environmental toxins. These all trigger PARPs or PARPs.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that word again. It's poly, ADP ribose polymerases. When your body triggers these PARPs or PARPs, it consumes NAD at a very, very high rate.
Oh.
So boosting NAD levels are incredibly important because we're dealing with cellular damage all the time. We're dealing with things because we're not eating right. We're not living right. We're stressed out. We're doing all kinds of things, whether it be physical, emotional, or just daily lifestyle stresses, right? So our body's constantly in this detect and mend stage that PRPs are involved in, but they consume NAD at a very, especially the more stressed out you are, the unhealthier you are, you're going to consume NAD at a very high rate. And if age is a determining factor for them declining, and diet and lifestyle also causes a decline, this is even more of a reason why you need to power or boost NAD levels in the body.
Other than diet and decreasing as we age, what other instances are there that would cause NAD levels to drop in the body?
So stress, like emotional stress, physical stress, exercise, and things of that nature, which are good for you, but in the moment can actually cause damage. Inflammatory responses, disease states that cause cell damage.
That makes sense.
Because all the things that would go and detect and mend those first responders, those PR.
It's depleting.
Yes, it's depleting NAD because it's using it as a fuel source.
Right.
how about other things like environmental toxins, exposure to poisons, microplastics, all these things that your body's trying to deal with at a cellular level causes your body to react in a certain way. And when our bodies are overactive in all these defense mechanisms, we deplete NAD. And as a result, we can't fuel these resources as efficiently, and eventually we get sick. So when someone wants to ask, well, I don't understand. I ate macaroni and cheese my whole life, but why is it, that only when I got to 40 did I start to get sick? And I'm like, because your body was able to defend itself, but now it's depleted.
Boxed or fresh mac and cheese? There's a difference.
Well, as delicious as it may be, mac and cheese is still mac and cheese at the end
Fair
of the day.
enough.
But
now we put lobster in it.
Yeah, true that. Tastes better.
For $60 a side.
100%.
Yeah.
The reason why it takes so long is because your body is such an unbelievable biological machine to be able to withstand some of this pressure. But at a certain point, it's indicative of us consuming NAD. These other processes like AMPK, sirtuins, and PARP, PARP, they're not able to function the same way because we just don't have the ability to fuel it and we're not stimulating it properly. So our body breaks down. What do we end up with? Metabolic dysfunction, metabolic illness. And we end up sick, ill, and relying on medication to do this when there are some very specific things that we can do to avoid this.
It's heavy.
Yes.
But it makes such logical sense.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny? Your body is not a playground. It is a biological machine to carry this consciousness through life.
Yep.
And it was created. Man, the body was so wonderfully and beautifully made. I mean, God went out of his way to build the most perfect machine. We literally do everything we can to tear it down.
Right.
We're looking for...
It's so true.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I did more of the tear down when I was 20.
Yep.
But in truth, Bri, I dealt later in life, after about age 40, I started dealing with disease state and conditions that I maybe I would have been able to avoid had I taken better care of myself.
Sure.
Understood.
Okay, so just to wrap up the NAD piece, just summarize, if you could, once again, what would cause NAD levels to fall? Just quick bullets.
Absolutely. So the first thing is, it's going to decline naturally with age. So that's already working against you because as we age.
Yep.
Everyday stress.
Yep.
Right? Physical, emotional, all those different types of stresses causes your body to be out of whack. Poor diet. We're going to get into diet in a little bit.
Check.
Environmental toxins, everything from hormones, plastics, garbage, things like phthalates and all kinds of topicals and ingestible chemicals, artificial sweeteners, all these different toxins that are just not good for you. And honestly, poor lifestyle choices, not exercising enough, consuming alcohol, smoking, all these different habits.
Okay. I asked that strategically because
Yeah.
I really want to make sure I capture that and the listeners as well. All right, Jason. So what can we do specifically to increase AMPK, serotonin activity, and increase NAD levels in the body?
Okay.
What can we do?
So in my opinion, there's like this idea of from a longevity focus, there's a hierarchy, right? There's these 5 things that I think are crucially important
Go ahead.
to promote longevity. The first is exercise.
Sure.
So exercise can be split between 2 things, cardio and weight resistance. So first, cardio. And what I mean by cardio, and I know you're probably familiar with this or heard it, there's like these zones, right? Like zone 2 fitness.
Yep.
Zone 2 fitness is kind of like this moderate, longer kind of cardio just to kind of get your heart rate up a little bit and keeping that zone 2. The idea is that you want to increase VO2 max, meaning what VO2 max is what is the maximum amount of oxygen your body can use during intense exercise, right? In fact, VO2 max is a predictor for longevity.
Oh, wow.
So cardio is something we want to do. So exercise, like we said earlier, exercise will stimulate AMPK, sirtuins, this activity. And so as far as what you want to do with cardio, you want to do at least 2 hours a week. And that can be combined with all kinds of different things. Now, weight resistance training or like weightlifting or like building muscle and things of that nature are kind of important. So first of all, muscle declines as we age too.
Yep.
Like over age 40, we start to decline, and it has a lot to do with all these hormone shifts in our body.
That's why we need so much protein.
100%. We increase our protein intake. Sickness can also cause a decline in muscle muscle retention.
Yep.
Dieting, all kinds of different diets that are out there. Muscle loss is also known by a term called sarcopenia.
Yeah.
Okay. Sarcopenia is what's describing losing muscle, whether it be during a diet, illness, or aging, or whatever it may be. Now, muscle is the largest metabolic engine in the body. So if we can maintain and promote healthy muscle retention, it is literally one of the most powerful tools, along with cardio, that you can do for longevity and health and wellness, because the more muscle you can retain and hold on to later on in your life, the healthier you're going to be. So resistance training builds muscles for sure. Now, I know that I definitely train more than this, but the minimum recommendations, and we're not saying that you have to go crazy in the gym, be there for 5 days a week and work out 2 hours every time. You want to work out, you want to do muscle or weight resistance training at least 2 non-consecutive days per week, including all muscles.
Easy.
Yep, 2 days. Commit 2 days to actually a little bit of weight training, and you're going to do enough to promote muscle.
Well, I'm batting 1,000. I still look like this.
Well, dude, believe it or not, you're probably doing more of this than you think.
Yeah.
This one is where I think most people fall short. I think everybody can wrap their head around exercise, right? Get a little cardio, little weight resistance, good for the body, right? It activates AMPK. All these things are happening.
Not much is needed.
No, you don't have to do a lot. See, I think overtraining causes a tremendous
That's
amount of stress on the body.
Issue.
Yeah, and that'll break things down.
All right, so exercise one.
Exercise one, diet. Diet is crucial.
Okay.
Now, by diet, I don't mean South Beach keto carnivore. I'm talking about
balanced, healthy eating.
What it is that you're eating. Now, if you remember on the Diet Trend show, we talked about all those different diets, but the one that I said was the most, or I would say the best diet for you.
You were an advocate for Mediterranean.
The Mediterranean diet. The reason why I'm an advocate for the Mediterranean diet, but I'm an advocate for modifying it slightly.
Right.
So I
want
to be very clear, right?
Yep.
Because I don't think the protein content was enough to actually support this process.
I
and
remember.
I think muscle being such a...
You were like, add eggs, add the yolk.
Absolutely.
Right.
So we want to make sure we add a few things, but they prioritize whole plant foods, not boxes. They deprioritize, or they try to remove processed refined foods, things in boxes, cans, and freezer bags. They promote healthy oils like olive oil or omega-3 rich oils, or fish like salmon or tuna that contain a lot of those wonderful omega-3s that are important for cardiovascular, brain health, and so much more.
Yes.
They prioritize healthy protein sources, but I believe that we need to modify. I think we need to have a little bit of a higher protein content than what the typical Mediterranean diet.
So a modification of it. I
totally.
get it.
Incorporating meal timing, if you remember, I also recommended is that it's not only increasing protein for the Mediterranean diet, but it's incorporating meal timing. Because if you can incorporate a little bit of a fasting element, remember what we said about stimulating AMPK or activating AMPK and sirtuins, is that fasting or even caloric restriction, but I'm not saying we have to go calorically restricted here, but fasting periods will activate this as well. So I'm a big fan of intermittent fasting from a longevity perspective. If you do lose any weight, it's minor, it's a little bit here and there, but it's a slow, it's slow weight loss. But the intermittent fasting part that I really like is a 16-8. That means you fast for 16 hours.
So when's your last meal of the day?
So 8 o'clock at night.
And then and 16 hours would be what the next day?
Noontime.
Okay.
So I eat from noon to 8. So I eat for 8 hours. It's not like
it doesn't seem like you're depriving yourself.
What it does do is it points out how addicted you are to snacking late at night, because no one ever makes
That's the trick.
Nobody sits there at 10 o'clock saying, hey, I would love to have a healthy salad.
Right.
They don't do
They want
that.
a quick, easy fix.
They're looking for potato chips, ice cream, snack foods, and all kinds of other things. So diet, key, right? And if you incorporate that modified Mediterranean diet, so highlight the Mediterranean diet, prioritize plants, good proteins, modify up a little bit of the protein content, maybe even a little bit of red meat, even though Mediterranean diet says no. I say a little bit of red meat because it has hemotype iron. It's really important. And then increase your omegas and your oils and good things like that. And then incorporate fasting as part of it. So use intermittent fasting, but use the Mediterranean diet.
Okay, so we got exercise in the one spot.
Yep.
Diet in the two spot.
And believe it or not, that's in order of priority.
Of
Exercise
course.
first.
All right, what's third?
Third is prioritize sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. There's all kinds of different sleep studies that tell, infants and, someone who's a senior. Bottom line is this: get about 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep a night, because this allows the body to promote proper recovery. Because if you don't, you're putting yourself at jeopardy for cardiovascular health issues, cognitive health issues, life expectancy will decrease. I will tell you, if you optimize sleep, you'll increase energy, You'll extend health span. I mean, you'll be healthier longer. People that don't sleep well don't live well.
What about people that are, I'm good with, 6 hours, 6.5, 7 hours, and they live a healthy lifestyle? I mean,
I'm glad that they feel psychologically that they're good at that because they've adapted their body over time. But the truth is that, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but the science is clear
8.
that as an adult, we need 7.5 to 8 hours of sleep every day. Period. That's just a recovery period. Your body just needs it. And it's not just the deep REM sleep. It's these different cycles of sleep or levels of sleep so that your body can recover.
Right.
Number 4
Go ahead.
is health screening. Okay? Go to your doctor, get checkups, get your blood work in case there's any indications of metabolic.
1,000%.
Just basic stuff.
Yep.
But some of the things that people don't think of is cancer screening. Like, at a certain age, get a colonoscopy. But here's the challenge. Colorectal cancer is happening younger, so I'm not going to say over 50 anymore. I'm going to say once you're in your 30s, you might want to start considering.
I think if there's a history of it in the family, they're starting younger.
Or if you want to admit that you're not eating well.
Right.
Or things that are awry.
I started at 50.
Yeah.
I'm going in for number 2.
So I started at 40 because I had a health concern that made me do it.
So every 5 years you go?
I go every 3 because of my disease state and condition. But once you, I was diagnosed with left-sided sigmoid ulcerative colitis when I was 40. So it was a really challenging time in my life where there was a disease that I had to deal with and contend with now. But
I only caught colitis. What was the first? What did you have?
Left-sided sigmoid ulcerative colitis, meaning the sensor that tells you have to go to the bathroom is where my lesion was. And so I had to go to the bathroom all the time. It was terrible. I don't even want to get into it.
How long did you suffer with that?
I suffered for about 1.5 years before we got it under control. But getting a colonoscopy at whatever cycle your doctor feels you need to do and what risk level you're at, get a colonoscopy.
Critical.
For women, breast, cervical, pap smears, things of that nature, they need to go in and get those reviews because those are things that can tell you if early detection for cancer is by far and away the best strategy. A prostate blood test, right? PSAs, and also a prostate exam. Now, there's not a guy on the planet.
Nobody wants that.
No matter where you are in life, nobody wants the prostate exam, but it's a smart thing to have done. My friend Donnie just went through prostate cancer surgery. Lucky had a really good prognosis and was able to, arrest it really quickly with a specialized type of surgery, but you don't want to get to the point where you have cancer, right? Like those are things. So blood work and cancer screening, those are really important because being early is the best medicine there.
I'm hearing more and more these last few years about full body scans for cancer, and they're able to detect things. Clearly, like pancreatic, God forbid, liver, those are very hard to detect. There's no early signs till like late stage. Are there advancements now with screening?
So I would say that those screening tests are never a bad thing because I think that anytime you can have early detection is the best strategy because it allows the medical community the ability to step in and do more work for you, really help you.
Yeah.
Yes. So the only other thing I would tell you from a cardiovascular thing that often surprises people is go get a stress test. Go to a cardiologist and get a stress test. They put you on a treadmill. They hook you up to electrodes. They make sure your heart's pumping right.
I know we were talking about this the other day, but equally with everything else, how about going to the dentist and what they can detect?
Well, honestly, I think it makes sense that we should talk completely just about dental health because oral health is a predictor for all kinds of other disease states and conditions.
Okay, fair.
Now, number 5, NAD boosting. There's all sorts of different ways to boost NAD, and we're going to get into that. But the cool thing about it is NAD boosting is something that you can start doing today. There are lifestyle choices, foods we can eat. There's even supplements you can take. There's interventions that can boost. And I would tell you that the technology and understanding about how to boost NAD properly today gives you so many options. I would tell you, find the strategy that works for you and bottom line, do it.
Yeah. I mean, unlimited discussion opportunities here with this.
100%. So even though I've got a little peek at our rapid fire today, there's going to be a couple items on the rapid fire that will help give you some tools on what you might take for NAD boosting.
I learned a lot.
This is what I reach for on the way to the gym, Aonic Build. It's a 3-in-1 muscle support supplement that makes staying consistent way easier. You get creatine for lean muscle support, HMB to help with muscle retention, and beetroot extract to support strength and power. All in one stick. I love that it has 0 added sugar, no artificial colors, and actually tastes refreshing. It just fits into my routine without overthinking it. No mixing multiple supplements, no extra steps. If you're training and want something simple that supports your goals, this is an easy add to your routine. Easy to throw in my bag, easy to stay consistent with.
Okay, Jay, so today's rapid fire will be specifically tied to longevity.
Excellent.
Supplements, trends. Let's get your take on it.
100%.
Okay, first, creatine.
Creatine is a must. I think both men, women should do it. This is not just a fitness product. This is a health longevity product. New research about cognitive health and so on. Basically what creatine does, it helps support the ATP recycling process so you can have energy at a cellular level. Absolutely amazing. My favorite creatine, and it's been my favorite for a long time, is Biochem. Biochem they use the German Creapure. They use a really good quality creatine. It's one of my favorites on the market.
Okay, that's a staple. Okay, HMB.
So HMB is key. Remember we said that muscle is the largest metabolic engine in the body, but as we age, it declines. HMB helps you retain that muscle. So if you're in the gym working out and you build muscle and you're in that growth phase and you're trying to promote the retention of that muscle, HMB can help you keep it. Now, if I were to back up to creatine, HMB is great to take on its own,
Right.
but if you combine creatine and HMB,
For sure.
it can be literally the best combination. So there's a couple of recommendations that I have in there. One, probably one of my favorites, is Transparent Labs uses the creatine plus HMB. They do an amazing job. Probably one of the top sellers out there because they kept it simple, straightforward, and it's easy to use.
Yep.
And they did a really good job with the taste. Another one of my favorites is more like a stimulant-free pre-workout, but it's Aonic.
Right.
So Aonic uses creatine, but they use an advanced form of HMB called HMB Pro.
Right.
It's this highly bioavailable form of HMB, so it's maybe a little bit more effective than the standard HMB. And it's a company, Verdant Nature, created something called BioSned's HMB Pro.
Right.
They also add beetroot extract to increase vasodilation. So bottom line, creatine HMB combos, excellent.
Okay. So 2 buys, creatine, HMB.
100%.
Okay, so for longevity, tell me about the importance and significance of protein.
So when it comes to protein, again, back to the muscle is the largest metabolic engine. And if we're going to prioritize exercise, we're going to need to support our body for muscle repair and recovery. Protein provides all the essential amino acids that you need to support proper and healthy muscle repair and recovery. So protein is amazing. There's a couple of really good options out there that I love. First of all, Biochem's 100% whey is a pure grass-fed whey protein isolate. Don't use any artificial flavors, sweeteners, or colors. And I know you're kind of biased on one too, and I happen to love it as well because they've got tons of flavors. Probably one of my favorites because of the flavor diversity.
Transparent Labs.
100%. They do a really good job with their grass-fed whey protein isolate.
Indeed, they do. Okay, next 3 we'll focus on supplements still.
Yeah.
Resveratrol.
So resveratrol is something that gained popularity in that whole French paradox as it's a wine grape extract, but it's also identified in knotweed extract for most supplements that are out there. But resveratrol has extremely poor bioavailability. So Verdant Nature created a technology called BioSneds where they have this resveratrol. It's a specialized form of resveratrol that is more bioavailable by a long shot. In fact, there's a company out there right now called Reservage. They specialize in resveratrol. Sure. They did an amazing job, and they launched one using the BioSneds resveratrol. Why resveratrol is really important is because it stimulates sirtuin activity that we talked about earlier. So it promotes autophagy, that whole cell clearance, that cell maintenance cleanup process. So really important.
Okay. So that's a buy.
Yes.
But making sure you're getting the bioavailable.
You want to make sure you get the bioavailable form. If you get a standard resveratrol, it will not absorb. It has less than 1% bioavailability.
Okay. So now based on everything I heard today, NAD in supplement form.
Okay, so if someone has NAD in a supplement, it's not bioavailable. Your body's going to break it down. It's not going to work. So if you see specifically NAD on the label, meaning nicotinamide, adenine, dinucleotide on the label, if that's labeled, skip it.
Don't waste your time.
Don't waste your time in a supplement form. It's not bioavailable. Excuse me. It's not bioavailable. You're wasting your money.
Okay.
The industry celebrates 3 to 5 times better absorption. But absorption isn't bioavailability. Your bloodstream isn't your cells. BioSneds reaches both. Up to 100 times more bioavailable. Clinically proven at a fraction of the dose. This isn't just an improvement. It's different math. Because if it doesn't reach your cells, Pure, organic, and expensive don't matter. Look for products powered by biosneds. verdantnature.com.
So NMN.
So NMN is all the rage right now, and for good reason. So NMN is a direct precursor. Now, when I say NMN, I mean the
NAD?
3 letters. N as in Nancy, M as in Michael, N as in Nancy. NMN. You can search it on Amazon. You can search it on Google, whatever. You'll find plenty of options, and there's some good companies out there. But NMN is a direct precursor to NAD. The clinical studies around it show that if you want to boost NAD, that's a great place to start, is NMN, because it is something that your body can take, absorb, utilize, and convert and help you make more NAD at a cellular
So
level.
in capsule form, NMN is the route.
100%.
Okay, intravenous NAD.
Okay, so IV NAD is a popular trend in all these longevity and anti-aging clinics, which I hate the anti-aging, but dude,
People are raging how they feel from it.
100%. Well, it's because you get 100% bioavailability, right? Remember, NAD is a fuel. So if you're fueling the cells,
You're
you're going to feel
energized after this.
You're energized, not caffeine energized.
Right.
You're just energized at a cellular level, promote cellular repair,
Vibrant.
but it's extremely expensive.
Oh, is it?
And so the long-term lasting effects of it, though, are in question. The clinical evidence is not as much there. I would tell you that when you're injecting real NAD directly into the body, IV, right? Yeah, you're going to get it. 100% bioavailable. How long does that last, really? I still am a fan of using something like NMN or a strategy combining certain things with NMN so that you can help your body naturally produce it.
Got it.
Right? Like you're giving it a precursor so that the body is doing it on its own and doing it efficiently. But man, it's expensive. $300 to $500 a month for NAD.
But if someone really needs it, it could be a good fix for them.
Short-term fix, but I would tell
Right.
you there's better strategies because if you're consistent every day, you're going to promote NAD boosting all the time.
Okay. Red light therapy.
Red light therapy is absolutely really popular right now. It seems to have really promising results for
Are you
skin health.
Are you wearing the mask?
I don't. I don't participate in red light therapy.
Okay.
I haven't done it yet. I mean, I can't do everything, man. I try to stay as tech-less as possible. Like I don't do the wearables. I don't do the devices.
People love it, but this is more like
Yeah.
cosmetic
100%.
aesthetics.
Well,
Okay.
because it's for skin health, there's
Yeah.
really good data. For cellular health or helping to reduce inflammation, systemic inflammation. However, honestly, I don't know that it's the best approach for that whole longevity thing, right? Like we're talking about longevity, right? Like longevity. And so red light therapy will help with anti-aging effects, which I hate that term and I can't stand saying it. But yeah, so it's really good for skin, but I'm not the biggest fan of red light therapy.
But wouldn't a good high-grade collagen do the same?
Well, I think if you did red light therapy using a good high
That's the
grade
1-2 punch?
collagen peptide product, like I know Transparent Labs has collagen peptides in powder
We have a
form.
grass-fed, yeah.
Yeah, so you can utilize that something with it, and it'll definitely be great for
Okay.
skin health. But from a longevity perspective, I think the research is still out whether or not it's actually a viable strategy
Well, I'm
for
on the
longevity.
fence. I might be getting one because, yeah, it seems to be appealing.
Yeah.
Okay. Cold plunge.
Okay, cold plunge is all the rage right now. People are installing them in their backyard. Absolutely painful. I'll be honest with you. Is it good for you? Yeah, I think it's really good. I think there's some really good health promoting benefits, such as it activates autophagy, that thing that I shared earlier.
Right.
So cellular debris clearance, helping to maintain a nice environment inside the cell, lowers chronic inflammation, boosts neurotransmitters, supports healthy blood flow because your body is going to automatically react to that cold weather. It's going to want to warm the body. So you're going to definitely, with vasodilation, be careful not to use this within 4 hours of resistance training. You want to make sure that you separate this out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you don't.
I would
wanna-
imagine people finish working out and they go right in.
No, you want to let your body kind of naturally acclimate. I mean, your body is heightened. At least the research is saying that. I'm not saying that I'm a cold plunge expert, but at least the research I did said give yourself 4 hours before doing it. Meaning a lot, stretch, do other things before you jump in the cold plunge.
Well, I got to tell you, my experience,
Mm.
first of all, losing my breath as I went in, staying in for a minute was a battle.
Oh,
It was
painful.
Painful.
Oh, dude, I
How do people stay in there for several minutes, if not longer?
well, there are people that stay in for like 20, 30 minutes. I don't get it. Like that's very uncomfortable for me. Like, you know, the polar bear thing that everybody would jump in the cold water during
Right.
wintertime. They would
Right,
do it
right.
for a real quick second.
They're
They come
in
out
and
and
out.
go,
Exactly.
But the cold plunge, people are investing in these little tubs in their backyard and they're,
Wow.
I don't know.
All
For
right.
me, listen, I understand the research is good. There's good things. I'm going to say for me personally, this is not for me, but the research seems promising. But there are some things that you probably still want to be concerned about.
All right. So the other end of the spectrum,
Yeah.
sauna.
Sauna, the data is crystal clear. It's regular sauna use is clinically linked to a longer health span.
Oh, wow.
It mimics cardio workouts by increasing blood flow, increasing heart rate and so on. So your body is kind of getting some of that cardio reaction, but in a sauna, because the outer air is like 170 to 190 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's warm and your body is being stimulated. Excellent for cardiovascular health, as well as supporting things, helping to support the mind, the brain, things like that people deal with, like dementia and Alzheimer's. Sauna is amazing.
Wow.
For cognitive health. Heat, like what you would experience in a sauna, triggers what they call heat shock proteins. So like protein formations in the body, malformations of proteins or other things in the body that are not right or not okay. Heat shock proteins help to, and I'm not going to get into this because this could be a whole nother show in itself.
Okay.
They kind of, they act to correct certain errors in certain proteins and help with cellular aging. There's a whole science behind that, but saunas help to trigger the release of trigger heat shock proteins. But one of the most important precautions here is you have to make sure you stay hydrated. So using water, but also electrolytes.
So dry heat it is?
Yeah.
Because I would favor steam over sauna, to be honest with you, until now.
No, sauna is the key, man. The science is crystal clear from a longevity perspective. Out of all these things that you could do, whether it be a cold plunge, red light therapy, or sauna, I'm going to tell you sauna by a long shot.
Okay. Great stuff. Thanks.
Your gut works hard every day, digesting, supporting your immune system, even helping your energy. Probuline probiotics are scientifically formulated, shelf-stable, and easy to take daily. Picture yourself moving through your day with confidence, feeling balanced from the inside out. Morning routines, work, family time. Probuline helps keep your gut in check so you can focus on what really matters.
So, Jason, everything we discussed today in regards to longevity, and I'm sure you, as well as I know a lot of people, that are very into this.
Yeah.
And dare I say they're getting addicted.
Yeah.
To trying the next best thing, and they're doing hundreds of different things to promote that healthy aging, if you will. Like, how much is too much? And right, are you sensing that people are getting a little bit overboard?
So I would tell you that it's even bordering on addiction, right? This whole vanity pursuit. People want to look younger, stay younger, but the lengths at which they're willing to go, right. Cosmetic injections, body augmentations, looking for ways to alter and change their body, and not to get into some of the societal stuff that's going on right now.
The peptide craze.
Oh, the peptide craze is one. But then there's also people that are trying to look to change their body entirely, like, the whole gender thing and so forth. And I would tell you that we have to be careful, because I think when you look at yourself in the mirror, you have to see yourself as beautifully and wonderfully made. And in order to, and I think it's really important from a mental health perspective for you to see how amazing you are as you are.
So true.
Without trying to go to such great lengths to change things, because I think God's made you perfect. So the stats are actually really shocking, and this may surprise you, Brian. 70% of adult women, 60% of adult men all find themselves, they're not satisfied with what they see, right? They're looking at ways they want to improve, vanity issues. They suffer from some sort of image dissatisfaction. 7 to 12% of people are seeking plastic surgery options. Some are even suffering from body dysmorphic disorder.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
Like they're going and they'll go for, sadly, the surgery itself almost never resolves their challenges. In fact, it points out something else that they need to fix.
They want more and more.
Yeah. And even sadder still is I believe that the stats are probably higher than that. I don't know that even my stats are correct. And I think there's a lot that we don't even know about that aren't even captured in some of this.
Yeah,
and
I think you're right.
there's such a social media presence for reinforcing these unrealistic social norms, right?
Totally.
Like when I said at the beginning, we basically want to be this superhero, right? Like this, those are fictional character superheroes. We don't have to strive to be this body perfect person. And I think that from a mental health perspective, I think it would do us all good to try to figure out what it takes for someone to look at themselves and see that they're beautiful and not have to resort to that. Now, like for example, you get tattoos, you enjoy them, but you got to admit when you're getting them, they're kind of addicting, right? Because you kind of like the way they look and you want to expand.
It's painful, right? It was never going to be one and done.
No,
but that's true. But to get back to your point, though, what people see on social media,
yeah,
they're so highly filtered. It's not even realistic.
No,
and people just take the bait.
100%. Well, I will tell you another thing too. A lot of it now today, you don't even know if it's real. It's AI.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're comparing yourself to not only an unrealistic social norm, but one created by AI.
My sons tell me all the time, my dad's AI. I can't even tell.
I can't tell anymore.
Yeah.
I would tell you that longevity needs to be a healthy mindset too. So that would be my number 6 after NAD boosting is having a healthy psychological approach to what you're really truly trying to strive for. That's why I keep saying I hate anti-aging. Aging is beautiful. Embrace it. My wife keeps telling me, even though I don't like it, that my gray's showing in on the sides. And she goes, it looks distinguished. And I'm like, it looks old to me.
Yeah, I got it.
But that's me looking at myself saying I don't like it. My wife telling me she loves it. So,
but at the end of the day, exercise, eat well, get the proper amount of sleep, boost that NAD, and be the best version of yourself.
100%.
That'll be the byproduct.
Physically and psychologically. And don't forget regular checkups with your doctor, cancer screening, things of that nature, all important.
All right.
Yo, Bri, this show today was really important to me because I really love the idea of longevity, but not in the perspective of living longer, but living healthier longer.
Yeah.
Right? Hopefully this helps, somebody get some really good information on what they might want to approach, or if it just reinforces some of the things they're already doing. But for all you listening and watching, we're really grateful that you're here. Please do me a favor. Again, subscribe, like, comment, share. It really helps us get more of this information out to everybody. And until next time, Bri, man, I really love the show, and I think it opened my eyes just doing the research. It reinforced all things that I knew, but I'm pretty psyched about trying some of the things that we're actually talking about.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the feedback. See you soon.
Look, guys, life comes at you fast, okay? I'm a new dad, all right? With new responsibilities. I mean, I got laundry to do, trying to figure out how this stroller works. I'm changing diapers for days over here. The fuel that fuels me is Aonic fuel. God, that's good.
Your gut works hard every day, digesting, supporting your immune system, even helping your energy. Probuline probiotics are scientifically formulated, shelf-stable, and easy to take daily. Picture yourself moving through your day with confidence, feeling balanced from the inside out. Morning routines, work, family time. Probuline helps keep your gut in check so you can focus on what really matters.
The industry celebrates 3 to 5 times better absorption. But absorption isn't bioavailability. Your bloodstream isn't your cells. BioSneds reaches both. Up to 100 times more bioavailable. Clinically proven at a fraction of the dose. This isn't just an improvement, it's different math. Because if it doesn't reach your cells, pure, organic, and expensive don't matter. Look for products powered by BioSneds.
After age 50, you develop anabolic resistance. That means you need more protein to build and maintain muscle. With grass-fed protein from Transparent Labs, I get 28 grams of clean, fast-absorbing protein, rich in amino acids to support muscle protein synthesis. Build and maintain your muscle mass at any age with Transparent Labs.
This is Transparent Labs Creatine HMB. Creatine builds muscle by fueling your output. HMB protects muscle by reducing breakdown. Research shows that this combination can result in 33% greater strength gains and 67% more lean mass than just creatine alone. Start building more muscle with Transparent Labs Creatine HMB.